All meetings are to be open and closed promptly according to the Circle 7 in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Want to ask all Moors that are able to please rise and
Bro,
face
they
the
do
east as
same
we
man in
recite
Florida.
the Moorish American
Join the
prayer.
meeting.
All right, Islam, facing the east with our heels together, feet at a 45-degree angle, and holding up two fingers on the right and five on the left. Please repeat after me. Allah, the Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation by night and by day through his holy prophet, Drew Ali. Amen. Islam Moors. I want to announce that this meeting is now open. Islam, this is the Moorish Science Temple of America, Temple 30, Columbus, Ohio. First and foremost, we always rise here giving the highest of praise to the Most High, our Creator, Sustainer, our Father God, Allah. We extend honors to our divine prophet, Noble Drew Ali, for bringing us our divine creed and nationality so that we may learn to love instead of hate. We extend honors to the forerunner to the prophet, our brother Marcus Mosiah Garvey, for preparing the way for our prophet. And we extend honors to the Moorish and the American flags. We extend honors to our charter and its 10 wonders, and we extend honors to the first appointed Supreme Grand Sheikh, Brother E. Millie Ill. We extend honors to all the faithful, all members of the Moorish Science Temple of America, and we extend honors to the Supreme Grand Sheikh, Brother Kenu Bey, and the Supreme Grand Council of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Islam, Brother Jackson Bey, if you're able to, please read our divine constitution and bylaws.
Islam Grand Sheikh, I rise giving all praise to Allah, honor to the Prophet, Drew Ali, honor to the forefathers and foremothers, and honor to the Asiatic nations and the Muslims all over the world. Salvation, Allah, unity, the Moorish Science Temple of America, the Divine Constitution and Bylaws, Act 1. The Grand Sheikh and the Chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America is empowered to make law and enforce law with the assistance of the Prophet and the Grand Body of the Moorish Science Temple of America. The Assistant Grand Sheikh is to assist the Grand Sheikh in all affairs if he lives according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and it is known before the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Act 2. All meetings are to be open and closed promptly according to the Circle 7 in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day of rest because on a Friday the first man was formed in flesh, and on a Friday the first man departed out of flesh and ascended unto his Father God Allah. For that cause, Friday is the holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Act 3. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced by all members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. No member is to put in danger or accuse falsely his brother or sister on any occasion at all that may harm his brother or sister because Allah is love. Act 4. All members must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all members must obey the laws of the government, because by being a Moorish American, you are part and parcel of the government and must live the life accordingly. Act 5. This organization of the Moorish Science Temple of America is not to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are part and parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopian, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now. And all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All members must promptly attend their meetings and become part and parcel of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Then you're entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean before them. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Jew Ali, through the guidance of his father God Allah. Noble Jew Ali, founder, Moorish American prayer. Allah, the father of the universe, the father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day. His holy prophet, Jew Ali. Amen. Moorish Science Temple of America, home office. Noble Jew Ali, home office, Chicago, Illinois, USA. Islam, peace and love.
Islam and gratitude, brother. Brother Kobe, would you please read the writs of our prophet?
Islam, Grand Sheikh, I rise and give praise to the great God Allah. Rise and give honor to the Prophet Noble Jew Ali. Rise and give honor to the forerunner of Marcus Zayed Garvey. Intelligence rules the world. Ignorance carries the burden. Rise and give honor to all ills and babes, all Muslims on the call and on the planet. To the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Islam, this is instruction from your Prophet Noble Jew Ali. Be faithful unto your forefather divine and national creed, and you will be blessed for the good deeds that you sow in the flesh. Allah is the one that judges the world, and his judgment is on now, but the weak can comprehend it not. The end of times are drawing near, so says Allah to his divine prophet, I Noble Jew Ali. And that is why many hearts have turned to stone. Many have eyes to see but cannot see, ears to hear but cannot hear, lest they'll be confounded of their sins. These are the trying hours now, dear Moors, and every evil spirit is moving, and they are trying every weak mind to overthrow and drag out the true foundation that has been laid and to cause confusion in the minds of the ones that do believe. But if you have the true love of Allah and the spirit of your forefathers, you fear not what you hear or see, but will sacrifice the utmost of your very life to protect your movement and your prophet. Watch your enemies, dear Moors. Your enemies are the ones that speak against your prophet and ridicule him to the very lowest, and the ones that speak against your divine and national principles of your temple. Act accordingly, and Allah will bless you for your good work. Peace, your divine prophet, Noble Jew Ali. Prophet wants all Muslims to be read in every meeting. I hereby inform all members they must end all radical just while at work, in their homes, or on the street. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be a severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom. And when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings towards the temple or the prophet, or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement, will receive their rewards from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card and button, cease wearing their turban and fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet, Noble Jew Ali, and the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet, therefore, is sending out a divine plea to all Moorish Americans to do their part in protecting their prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways. Peace, Noble Jew Ali. To be proclaimed in every meeting, Islam. I am glad to know I have a few faithful Moors among you all, and I desire for them to know the truth and the divine truth. There's a host of jealousy about me in the movement now by the same people of our side of the nation that claimed that I was a joke and unreal. But now, since they found out from the government officials and the nations of the earth that this is the only sole foundation that all Asiatics must depend upon for their earthly salvation as American citizens, they are working every scheme that they can to disqualify me so they may take charge of the situation. I have notified all these things to you long ago in the past. It is through the faithful Moors that attribute to the movement and uplifting funds, the ones that pay their divine respects for me and the movement will be remembered. That is why I'm calling upon all faithful Moors to increase their faithfulness to me, your prophet, and your divine Moorish movement. I need finance, and I need it badly. Never before have I needed finance so badly as I do at present, so I can shove aside the discord that is facing the nation. It all comes to jealousy because of my fame and nobility. The nations of the world would not recognize the movement without I, the prophet, being head. It has been proven by my works which I have performed in the past few years. Prophet, Noble Jew Ali, Islam, Islam, Islamism. Happy Sunday, school master.
Islam and gratitude, brother. We will now read our additional laws and divine warning. Additional laws for the Moorish Americans by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Act 1. Grand sheikhs and governors and heads of all temples, all businesses. Each said temple must be approved by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Before acting upon by any members, let it be finance, property, or any line of life that will cause the members to sacrifice finances, etc., that will cause the support of any group of members. Any former officer that violates these laws is subject to be removed from his office under a heavy restriction, etc., by the Prophet or the Grand Sheikh. Act 2. All members are to attend their ADUP meetings and their public meetings promptly. If a member is found standing around on a meeting period, shall be fined 50 cents on the first case, and on the second he will be fined $1, which will go on your emergency fund. If member is working, his monthly dues must be paid, and if he has money in the bank, he must subscribe for as much as he is able to the Moorish Uplifting Fund, because it takes finance to uplift the nation. Act 3. It is the lawful and divine duty of every good member, if he is able in finance, to aid me in saving the nation, and if he does not, he is an enemy to the cause of uplifting his own people, and justice must catch you. Let it be he or she according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, as I have the power invested in my hands, and I will have to enforce the law to save the nation. Act 4. All members, while up making a public speech, must not use any assertion against the American flag or speak radical against the church or any member of any organized group, because we are to teach love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Act 5. All members must promptly attend their meetings and send their children to Sunday school, and the teacher must confirm himself to the questionnaire, and let every member exercise his 5 senses who is able to do so, because out from your Sunday school comes the guiders of the nation. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality in their divine creed, that they may know that they are a part and parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Ali the Prophet to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All members must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and parcel of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Science Temple. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple. Then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, through the guidance of his Father God Allah. A divine warning by the prophet for the nations. The citizens of all free national governments, according to their national constitution, are all of one family bearing one free national name. Those who fail to recognize the free national name of their constitutional government are classed as undesirables and are subject to all inferior names and abuses and mistreatments that the citizens care to bestow upon them. And it is a sin for any group of people to violate the national constitutional laws of a free national government and cling to the names and the principles that delude to slavery. I, the prophet, was prepared by the great God Allah to warn my people to repent from their sinful ways and go back to the state of mind, to their forefathers' divine and national principles, that they will be law abiders and receive their divine right as citizens according to the free national constitution that was prepared for all free national beings. They are to claim their own free national name and religion. There is but one issue for them to be recognized by this government and of the earth, and it comes only through the connection of the Moorish divine national movement, which is incorporated in this government and recognized by all other nations of the world. And through it, they and their children can receive their divine rights unmolested by other citizens, that they can cast a free national ballot at the polls under the free national constitution of the state's government, and not under a granted privilege, as has been the existing condition for many generations. You who doubt whether I, the prophet, and my principles are right for the redemption of my people, go to those that know the law in the city hall and among the officials in your government, and ask them under an intelligent tone, and they will be glad to render you a favorable reply. For they are glad to see me bring you out of darkness into light. Money doesn't make the man. It is free national standards and power that makes a man and a nation. The wealth of all national governments, gold and silver and commerce, belong to the citizens alone. And without your national citizenship, by name and principles, you have no true wealth. And I am hereby calling on all true citizens that stand for a national free government and the enforcement of the Constitution to help me in my great missionary work, because I need all support from all true American citizens of the United States of America. Help me to save my people who have fallen from the constitutional laws of the government. I am depending on your support to get them back to the constitutional fold again, that they will learn to love instead of hate, and will live according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, supporting our free national constitution of the United States of America. I love my people, and I desire their unity and mine back to their own free national and divine standard, because day by day they have been violating the national and constitutional laws of their government by claiming names and principles that are unconstitutional. If Italians, Greeks, English, Chinese, Japanese, Turks, and Arabians are forced to proclaim their free national name and religion before the constitutional government of the United States of America, it is no more than right that the law should be enforced upon all other American citizens alike. In all other governments, when a man is born and raised there and asks for his national descent name, and if he fails to give it, he is misused, imprisoned, or exiled. Any group of people that fail to answer up to the constitutional standards of law by name and principles, because to be a citizen of any government, you must claim your national descent name, because they place their trust upon issue and names formed by their forefathers. The word Negro deludes in the Latin language to the word nigger, the same as the word colored deludes to anything that is painted, varnished, and dyed. And every nation must bear a national descent name of their forefathers, because honoring thy fathers and thy mothers, your days will be lengthened upon this earth. These names have never been recognized by any true American citizens of this day. Through your free national name, you are known and recognized by all nations of the earth that are recognized by said national government in which they live. The 14th and 15th Amendments brought the North and South in unit, placing the Southerners, who were at that time without power, with the constitutional body of power. And at that time, 1865, the free national constitutional law that was in force since 1774 declared all men equal and free. And if all men are declared by the free national constitution to be free and equal, since that constitution has never been changed, there is no need for the application of the 14th and 15th Amendments for the salvation of our people and citizens. So, there isn't but one supreme issue for my people to use to redeem that which was lost, and that is through the above statements. Then the lion and the lamb can lie down together in yonder hills, and neither will be harmed, because love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice will be reigning in this land. In those days, the United States will be one of the greatest civilized and prosperous governments of the world. But if the above principles are not carried out by the citizens and my people in this government, the worst is yet to come. Because the great God of the universe is not pleased with the works that are being performed in North America by my people, and this great sin must be removed from the land to save it from enormous earthquakes, disease, etc. And I, the prophet, do herein believe that this administration of the government, being more wisely prepared by more genius citizens that believe in their free national constitution and laws, and through the help of such classes of citizens, I, the prophet, truly believe that my people will find the true and divine way of their forefathers and learn to stop serving carnal customs and merely ideas of man that have never done them any good but have always harmed them. So I, the prophet, am hereby calling aloud with a divine plea to all true American citizens to help me to remove this great sin which has been committed and is being practiced by my people in the United States of America, because they know it is not the true and divine way, and without understanding they have fallen from the true light into utter darkness of sin. And there is not a nation on earth today that will recognize them socially, religiously, politically, or economically, etc., in their present condition of their endeavorment in which they themselves try to force upon a civilized world. They will not refrain from their sinful ways of action, and their deeds have brought Jim Crowism, segregation, and everything that brings harm to human beings on earth. And they fought the Southerner for all these great misuses, but I have traveled in the South and have examined conditions there, and it is the works of my people continuously practicing the things which bring dishonor, disgrace, and disrespect to any nation that lives the life. And I am hereby calling on all true American citizens for moral support and finance to help me in my great missionary work to bring my people out of darkness into marvelous light. From the Prophet. All right, Islam Moors. Let's go ahead and get things started today. We're going to be just going over a few questions from the Koran Questionnaire, just focusing on questions 52 through 54. All right, and reason why we're doing that, and not just reading all the questions and just, making sure we got them all memorized, is because we want to understand that, Moorish Americans refer to the questions, the 101 questions from the Koran Questionnaire, as the keys. Right, the Koran Questionnaire is in the back of your Quran if you have one of our new Qurans. All right. So the Moorish Americans refer to these questions as keys for a reason. The Prophet deemed these lessons important to the spiritual development of Moorish Americans. So we are unlocking these keys to unfold Allah within. So we want to understand not just the practical, not practical, but not just the obvious meaning, right? The literal meaning. Who made you? Allah. We know that. Allah, the creator of the universe, right? So there's a literal understanding, but then there's also a deeper spiritual understanding, and we want to know both, right? Because we understand both. Now we understand, we can begin to tap in to the true power within. Now we can begin to understand how to apply these lessons to our lives, how to unlock these keys, right? Because ultimately the Prophet wanted to liberate our consciousness, right? He didn't come to put you into some other new form of slavery. Okay, so here we go. Questions 52 through 54. At what place on earth was the physical part of man formed? In the Garden of Eden. Where is the Garden of Eden? In the land of Canaan, in the city of Mecca. And then what is the modern name for the Garden of Eden? Mecca. Okay, so we're just going to stop there and let's build on those questions. So all these three questions, they focus in really on three different places, you could say, right? The Garden of Eden, Mecca, and Canaan. So we want to understand why this is in here, so that we understand why the Prophet, deemed this important for us, for our spiritual and physical liberation. going into question 52, at what place on earth was the physical part of man formed? In the Garden of Eden. So the Garden of Eden has more than one meaning. Now, of course, in the scriptures, this is um where the first man was, right? This is where man also was was connected to the creator, connected to Allah, right? And in this first question, it says this is where the physical part of man was formed. There's another part of man too. So it's specifically talking about, okay, this Garden of Eden symbolizing the place where humanity's divine form came into existence, the origin of man's physical body. All right, the perfect creation of Allah. And when we're looking at this spiritually, what the Garden of Eden means is not just a physical location, right? Not even saying that there wasn't a certain specific location on earth, but just saying it's not just a physical location. It's also a state of consciousness, right? A spiritual consciousness. Because the Garden of Eden is symbolic of divine innocence and also the unity of human beings with Allah. So this is symbolizing before the fall, before the separation, before the ego, the consciousness, the lower self comes into place. All right. And so when you look in the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary, it says the Garden of Eden represents the original state of spiritual purity. Okay, so our Quran starts off with what? The creation and fall of man. So the Garden of Eden is going back to before that even took place, right? And so that's why in the scriptures, Adam is walking around talking to the creator, right? Because the creator, of course, the creator is inside of each and every one of us, but he's conscious of it. He's at one with the creator. So that's your own higher self. That's enlightened man, fully enlightened, fully awakened. Allah and man being one consciously. So that's true right now, but we're not even conscious of it. And that's how come we misstep. How come we have problems and issues, because we don't know our true, we don't know who we truly are. Right. And so now we can come into this understanding of how even just knowing our divine origin, it has a huge impact on our self-worth, right? And on our spiritual walk. Because when we don't know any of this, right, we're liable to be out here doing anything, right? So we want to understand, right, our holy creation, because now we see ourselves as sacred. We see ourselves, even our bodies, as sacred temples, right? This is the Moorish Science Temple of America. In all reality, though, the temple is you, each and every one of us. So we want to see ourselves as that and see our true nature, right? Because that changes the whole way that we walk. That changes everything that we do, how we interact with people, right? What we're willing to do and not do in life. So that's huge, right? And then just moving on, we'll come back to that briefly before we close out. But moving on, 53, where is the Garden of Eden? In the land of Canaan, in this city of Mecca. So right here, the Prophet Noble Drew Ali is teaching that the Garden of Eden is in the land of Canaan and in the city of Mecca, right? So on one hand, this is connecting us to ancient and spiritual lineage of our ancestors, but we have to know what that truly means, because Mecca isn't just representing, some place in the world. And the Mecca, like what people call Mecca, is actually been moved
Join the meeting
to different locations several times. It wasn't always like over Mecca, Medina, which unless I'm mistaken, is in like Saudi Arabia, right? It wasn't always there. So we're not even really just talking about that place. All right. So Mecca is actually the spiritual heart, the center of the world, right? It's the center also of divine wisdom and guidance. This is what Mecca is. So the Holy Quran of Mecca, right, it emphasizes Mecca's importance as the place of pilgrimage and purification. But from a metaphysical point of view, the land of Canaan and Mecca, right, it signifies the restoration of spiritual knowledge and unity with the divine. So that's wherever we're at. That's where our movement was founded. Okay? So, we can ponder about where these geographical locations were, but I want to say pause on that. We're in trying to figure that stuff out and think about the how it represents a state of divine communion, right? And then we can make that pilgrimage within instead of like going to some place, right? And we can make that pilgrimage a daily action that we take because it's within us. This is once again, where's the nearest place we can meet Allah? Somebody knows. Where's the nearest place we can meet Allah, Morris?
In the heart.
So we want to be able to go within, and we want to make that a daily practice so we can make that pilgrimage every day. And all we have to do is to meditate. It's that easy. Allah didn't even make it hard for us. You can do that in 10 minutes, right? 10 minutes shutting out all the distractions and all the things that we have going on and quieting the mind, just focusing on the breaths. This needs to be a daily practice for each and everybody that's here. Okay? Not because I said so. This is the direction the prophet's pushing us in so that we can unfold the creator. All right? So the higher self is this still small voice that, for the most part, we ain't even hearing it. Right? We're not even aware of the presence of it. So, yeah, this is why we're all supposed to be meditating, right? At least once a day, at least. Moving on to question 54. What is the modern name for the Garden of Eden? Mecca, right? So, Mecca holds deep spiritual significance, right? It's a holy place for humanity. So for Moorish Americans, understanding that Mecca is the Garden of Eden, that once again, for us, this bridges our faith with our historical roots, but also from a spiritual perspective, understanding that Garden of Eden, that was where before the fall, that's where we're unified with the Creator. And so understanding that, hey, Mecca, the Garden of Eden, okay, this is for us, this is unified with the Creator. This is just once again remembering that we need to be meditating at least once a day. We need to make that pilgrimage to Mecca at least once a day. We are supposed to be meditating, not saying you're supposed to just meditate all day, right? But saying at least once a day, right? At least when you wake up, open your eyes, right? Go on and close them for 10 minutes, right? Or, maybe before bed too, or if you can 3 times a day, right? Morning, noon, and night, right? Because for us, we know that Garden of Eden, that Mecca, that's unity with the Creator. Okay, you don't have to go somewhere to do that. You don't need anybody else's permission to do that, but you do have to make that pilgrimage. Each and every one of us needs to do that work. Nobody else can do it for you, and you don't just get it. It's not some title that you get, right? It's not, no, and then you can't fake it. There's no way around it. Like, we all have to do that work. There's so much that's been done to us to make us forget who we are. We have to do that work to open up connections or understanding with the Creator. And I saw a hand up. Was that you, Brother Kobe? I think that brother just got kicked out the room. Okay, so just going back to that, right? So from a spiritual perspective, Mecca, this is the seat of divine consciousness. That's the meeting point with the human and the divine. That's where the sacred self, realizes the oneness with Allah. And that's central to spiritual liberation for everybody in the world. So we want to take all the spookiness out of it. We want to take all the, we don't just want to do rituals and stuff and not understand the importance of it, not understand what we're doing, right? So we want to take all of that stuff out of it right? The superstition and stuff like that. We want to get rid of that. We want to know what we're doing and why. All right. Because when you understand the importance of it, is connecting to the higher self, right? You got questions. The higher self has the real answer, the truth. So we're connecting to truth, Allah. And I see you, brother Kobe. I yield the floor. Islam.
Islam, Grand Sheikh, I rise and give perfect praise to the great God Allah. I rise and give honor to the Prophet Noble Jew Ali. I just wanted to camel back. This is a great deal when it comes to the meditation and prayer. I just wanted to add with your affirmation. I look at it as like an affirmation being prayer. So like say with affirmations being prayer and meditation being the quiet so you can hear Allah, give the answer is the whole circle of it. So Islam, that's how I look at it when I do it, as far as affirmation, as meditation, to answer the questions, to manifest. Islam, I yield the floor.
Islam, brother. Islam and gratitude. Right. Um, so just going back to 54, right? Modern name for the Garden of Eden is Mecca. That's the modern name for it. So we want to understand that, so it's one and the same. And Mecca is a symbol, right, of returning to our original divine state. Right. And that's something that can be relatable to each of us on our own spiritual journey. Right. So it's important to return to that state of purity and devotion. So we want to make this, pilgrimage to Mecca just in one sense. That's a symbolic thing that each and every one of us should be doing throughout the day. And that's prayer, right? Or meditation. So each and every one of us should be doing that throughout the day. Ideally at least once a day. Okay. And the prophet, we want to understand why he emphasized these lessons. So they're in there for a reason, right? The prophet brought this to the people in 1928 when our people, like the Moorish Americans, they're starting to awaken, right? And he aimed to restore this understanding, this knowledge to uplift fallen humanity. So that's why even in the keys, these are reminders in here about what we're supposed to really be doing. So we really are supposed to be these people who are spiritual, who are connected to the higher self, consciously doing the work on a regular basis. So this is a part of our life, right? And to the point where, we have stores and things of that nature, and we still implement this time. Oh, got to go meditate. It's time. And the Moors are really living like that. Okay. So this is this is supposed to become a part of our everyday life. We're not supposed to be able to forget this. We have to know our sacred origin. And that enables us to walk now with dignity and also divine purpose, because, as we're connecting to the higher self, we're being led by, by divine insight, divine wisdom. So just once again, the daily pilgrimage, all right, to the heart, because that's the nearest place we can meet Allah. So I want to encourage everybody. We need to be practicing daily meditation and prayer. That's it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And then just coming back to the lessons, just as we wrap this up. So understanding once again the Garden of Eden, it's a profound symbol. It's not just Adam and Eve, messing around in the garden. Like, come on, like, okay, so this has a spiritual meaning. Remember, Garden of Eden is a state of consciousness. It's spiritual innocence and unity with Allah. From a metaphysical perspective, it's not just some geographical place. I'm not saying that it wasn't, right? There was a geographical place, but we not so much concerned with that because we know that it's a state of mind. All right. And in that state of mind, you have unity with Allah, unity with the Creator. And so that's what we're returning to. That's what's most important for Moorish Americans. Getting to that state of mind, making sure we're doing the work to maintain that state of mind, to be able to do this on a regular basis. Okay, because for us, This is a way of life. This is not something that, we just do every now and then. All right. There's no other way around it. Okay. And hang on 1 second, Morris. Pardon. Okay. All right, so getting back to the understanding that this is a way of life for us. It's not just something that we just do every now and then, right? This is work that we're putting in on a daily basis, right? To connect with the creator. All right. So that Garden of Eden is a state of consciousness. It's about unity for us versus separation. Because when when humanity fell from divine consciousness into the material mind state, it's an ego-driven existence. And that separation from divine consciousness is what causes suffering and ignorance in the human experience, right? That's why, the lower selves traveling to and fro, seeking whom it may devour, and everything bad, okay? Right? It breeds what? Hatred, slander, lewdness, murder, theft, and everything that harms. So all of these things come from not being connected, right? From the the false belief of separation, right? The ego-driven experience. So the keys that the prophet gave to us to unlock that, to get out of this jail, out of this hell of trying to figure things out from our lower self, and it's always leading to destruction. All right, always making things worse. So he gave us these keys so that we can reclaim the divine state of unity. So, on a regular basis, right, we want to understand that our true purpose, no matter what we're doing, whether we're working, we're out here running a bunch of errands, we're doing all types of things. Okay, we're doing that stuff, but we still in the back of our mind, we know that we are striving to return to Eden within ourselves. And in remembering this in everything that we do, it transforms the way that we view life, because we have a spiritual path, a higher path. Everything that we're doing is either leading us towards our ultimate goals or away from it. So, we're focused on spiritual purification, meditation, all right? And then other practices that bring us closer to our true nature, our divine nature. That's what it's really about. The land of Canaan and the spiritual significance of Mecca, right? Canaan and Mecca, right? They're symbols of spiritual realization. I had shared a couple years ago, man. Time flies by, but I shared this picture just on the temple page on Instagram and Facebook for the Temple 30, right? The milk and honey, and then shared how Canaan is symbolic, right? Right from a spiritual perspective, Canaan is symbolic of the land of milk and honey, and what that really means, right? It's the pineal gland, right? You have the pineal gland and the hypothalamus and the there's three kings, or three, there's three thrones, the pineals, the in the centers, and then you have the hypothalamus, and I can't remember the other gland right now.
Pituitary.
Pituitary. Okay, gratitude. So and is the milk and honey is actually talking about the secretions, right? Coming from the pineal gland. All right, with serotonin, milky kind of and actually the way that it actually looks in appearance. And can't remember the name of the other one right now, but you have two hormones being secreted from the pineal gland. But anyway, just getting back to that, Canaan being representative of this area, the pineal gland, which people also call the throne of Allah, right? The third eye. And just saying that because these things really do have spiritual meaning and significance for us. The prophet's reconnecting us to this to get us to looking and thinking deeper, and also changing the way that we interact throughout our everyday life. So if we're going through life, but we're understanding it, remembering this symbolism right here, just remembering these keys 52 through 54, what the Garden of Eden really means, right? Garden of Eden in Mecca, symbolic of that spiritual unity with the Creator, with that mind state before the fall of man. And so we're striving to return to that. And so we're making sure that throughout the day, we still hold to our meditation. This is why for most Muslims in the world, right, there's certain times to pray. Now, this is also why, okay, while we may not be doing exactly what all other Muslims are doing, like, oh, we pray at a certain time, we got to face the ease, we got to do this, this, and that, we still have to have spiritual discipline and practice, because it's not like there's a them and us. Okay, with the prayer and praying throughout the day, it's supposed to be signifying you returning to this mind state. All right? And so we know that that's why we're doing this. That might not be taught to people. It definitely isn't being taught to people. Okay? But we understand it. And so we still have to hold to it. Okay? And that's why, trying to explain this in a lenient way that's understanding, it's not turning people off, that, hey, pray, meditate at least once a day. Why we have to say it like that? Because a lot of us aren't meditating at all. Or maybe do it every now and then. So at least, Moors, at least once a day, set aside 10 to 20 minutes for just quieting your mind and just focus on your breaths. Breathe in for 5 seconds, breathe out 5 seconds, Get it up to breathing in 10 seconds, out 10 seconds, Just focus on your breath so that you can get rid of all these loose thoughts. Now, when you do that, even just doing it once, you realize how many crazy thoughts just go through your mind just within 2 minutes. You've had like 30 crazy, just stupid thoughts. So we're Xing all that stuff out. And we do this because that is the lower self. That's the carnal mind. All those thoughts coming through. What's on TV right now? How many points they scored last night? Like all this stuff that's going through your mind is like, we're shutting that stuff off. Like, this is you taking control and telling the lower self to shut up. Just shut up. 10 minutes, man. Or 15, 20 minutes. Tops. You don't even need to do more than 20 minutes, okay? Doing that at least once a day, but doing it with the idea of working that up to more than once. Doing it at least 3 times a day. Maybe even doing it 5 times a day. Okay? But it has to be a daily practice for us, because we really are working to unfold the law. It's not supposed to be you're in here, you've been Moorish American Muslim for 2 years, and you still out here acting like a savage, being a monster. Because a lot of our people think it's cool to be savage. So we're not supposed to be having these savage problems. We're supposed to be changing. This has to occur. It must occur. Okay. So just going back to that MECCA, that's the modern name for the Garden of Eden. That has a profound metaphysical it has practical implications and profound metaphysical implications for us, because Mecca is a place of divine communion. It's a spiritual center. And of course, millions gather in submission and unity with Allah. So from a metaphysical standpoint, Mecca symbolizes that the ultimate return to divine awareness. It's a state of complete surrender, devotion, and inner purity. All right? And it's within us. It's within us. We're not even looking somewhere else. So we need to understand that. We don't say anything about anyone else. We're not looking down on people that go to Mecca and make no. We respect it. But for us, it's within, and this just is a reminder, we need to do this every day. All right? That meditation. Even if you got a prayer rug, perfect. Right? Pull that rug out, get down and meditate. 10 to 20 minutes. Daily practice, Morris. All right. We want to work it up from once to 3 times a day. You know, maybe even get it up to 5 times a day. But we got to at least be doing it once a day, Morris. So moving forward, so the prophets restoring the spiritual knowledge to us, right? Reconnecting with our ancient and our spiritual heritage, because that's essential for uplifting fallen humanity. There's no uplifting fallen humanity without this. All right. It doesn't matter what people say or think they know. No, we have to be able to practice it and do this for real. So we want to understand our spiritual inheritance, right? In Canaan and Mecca, that connects all Moorish Americans to an ancient lineage. And that's, you know, that by connecting to this higher self, we are connecting to divine wisdom. And by doing that, it empowers us because we're not disconnected. We're participants in a sacred, eternal tradition. And we're not separate from all the Muslims all over the world that's doing this. Even if they don't have the same mindset as us. As for why they're doing it, it doesn't matter. We're in divine union. So we want to make our, our lives actually like a modern Mecca, the way that we live. Everything that we do is supposed to be, centered around this. Right? This is supposed to be a part of our everyday lives. That's why I'm saying we got to do this every day. All right. Spiritual pilgrimage, right? And purification, daily devotion. All right. So we don't look down on the 5 prayers. We embrace that. Like, look, I'm striving for that. I'm gonna get up to them 5 prayers. All right. Might only be okay. I've been doing it once when I wake up, but I'm getting up to 5. We not looking down on that, right? We want to live in harmony with divine principles, right? Our heart, that's the closest place we can meet Allah. So we're making sure we're putting aside time, setting aside time to meet with Allah every day, all right? And we are blessed for that, and also for being given this understanding of what we're doing. And when the prophet brought this to the people in the 1920s, you still had deep, heavy racial segregation, right? Systematic oppression, which is still here today, but it was heavier. It was way worse. People were getting lynched openly, right? Nobody was going to prison for that. And they still haven't sent anyone to prison for that. Like, that's insane, right? So, the Moors were dealing with that, right? And he was bringing this idea that the Moors had a divine origin, that they had a sacred lineage. He's bringing this to these people. That was revolutionary at the time. All right. But he also was able to, in a short amount of time, he restored a sense of dignity, gave the people identity and purpose, right? That had been stripped away by the narrative from colonialism. So this was heavy. And this is why the Moors were able to get so much accomplished in so short a time. Right? Having this understanding behind the attitude that they wanted to do for themselves, right? So bringing that, giving that attitude back to them, this understanding, right? It was powerful. And the transformation happened, quickly, right, amongst the people. But it's even more important now, right, in the modern times, because of all the things we're dealing with all the distractions, right? Materialism. And then moral confusion is widespread. So the need to reclaim our spiritual identity is even more urgent now than ever. Right? There's so many things. It's hard just to get someone could be listening to this right now, and you're telling them like, hey, don't have that screen in front of your face. Like, you're better than this. You're smarter than this. Holding that phone or just being in front of a screen, it's messing you up. And it's, and they could understand and know it, and they still can't break free. Even if they hear this explained to them in that way, they still can't break free. And so this is more important now than ever. All right. And the teachings of the prophet, right, they guide us to focus on inner purification, spiritual awakening, and then community upliftment. So the true freedom that we have is spiritual, because that leads to the transformation of our consciousness. And when we transform our consciousness, now we transform our communities, and then eventually the whole world. All right. And there's a statement, the truth shall make you free. And that's rooted in that same understanding that spiritual knowledge liberates the mind and the soul. All right. So when we realize our divine origin in the Garden of Eden, Mecca, and understand that we are spiritual beings having a human experience, now we're no longer bound by the limitations that's been imposed on us. Doesn't matter if it's imposed by society, doesn't matter if it's fear mongering, right? Material concerns. Now we're no longer bound by that because this realization of our true nature, right? It empowers us to live with purpose and grace and spiritual authority. And this is why no matter what we do, we have to make sure we're setting aside time to make this spiritual pilgrimage, right? We have to be doing this meditation. It has to be a part of our everyday life, no matter what we're doing, right? Because when our minds are set free from all these false beliefs and limitations, we become agents of change and we become effective, right, in everything that we do. So as we wrap this up, just practical measures to apply these lessons in our daily life. We want to be consistent. We want to have daily remembrance, right? So we want to set aside time for daily prayers and meditation. We want to do that on a daily basis, Morris, no matter what. And living this leads to living with purity, because as we're setting aside this time, we're strengthening our bonds, our connections with the Creator. Now we're living and making choices that reflect our divine heritage. Doesn't matter whether it's speech, whether it's our thoughts, our actions, right? Now we're moving from a higher level. We're making moves from divine wisdom. So we want to do this. And then eventually, as we go out into the community, which the Moors did today, right? The giveaway or food giveaway today was successful, right? We want to be able to do things like this in the community and do even bigger and greater things. All right. So, as we do this, Moors, right, on a regular basis, we will be able to see a lot unfolding within us, individually and collectively. Just want to make sure that it's understood. It's really about making this a daily practice. And what is this? Meditation, right? Spiritually setting aside time to connect to the Creator. Islam Morse. And we're gonna go ahead and go into the closing. Before we do that, though, I do want to give honors and respect to our brother Morris L, brother D Morris L. He just joined and proclaimed his nationality. He's actually on the call right now, brother Dante L. So just want to give respect to him, introduce him to you, Morris. He's also here in Columbus, Ohio, and respect and honors to that brother, and congratulations for coming into the fold and for proclaiming your nationality. That's always a beautiful thing. Praise Allah. And we're going to go ahead. I want to announce without further ado, we're going to go into the closing of the meeting. Having already read all of our writs, divine warning, everything, I want to put the call out there for anyone that would like to assist us in the great work of uplifting fallen humanity. Make sure you go to our website. You can always go just to moorishamericans.com. When you go there, you want to send a donation to assist us. Just scroll down to the bottom of the page and click that donate button on there, and that will send you to the PayPal for the temple. And then also for anyone else that's interested in joining and proclaiming your nationality, just click on that contact button. You can fill out the form down there, or you can just use that number on there to give us a call. We will need to speak and more than likely meet with you as well, right, before you can just join and proclaim. But you can reach out to us and we'll build from there. All right. And I believe that's all of the announcements for now. If any of you Moors have any questions or comments, though, you can always call or just send an email to the temple. We're also temples on Facebook and Instagram as well. You can see the buttons down there if you're on the website. So we are on YouTube as well. So we're going to go ahead and close things out. All meetings are to be open and closed properly according to the Circle 7 in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. I want to ask all of you Moors that are able to to please rise and face the east as I recite the closing prayer. You do not need to repeat after me. Standing facing the east with our heels together, feet at a 45-degree angle, and then holding up 2 fingers on the right and 5 on the left. Allah, bind our hearts and minds back to our ancient forefathers' divine creative principles. We ask this in thy holy name and the 7 Elohim. Amen. Islam, peace and love, Moors. This meeting is now adjourned.